Big stories, big pressure, big nights at Anfield. This is Anfield Central, your home for the latest Liverpool news, transfers and sharp analysis. No noise, just what matters to real Reds. So if you love Liverpool, hit subscribe and stay ahead of every story. Let's get into it.
Juventus identify Alisson Becker as #1 transfer target. Juventus have reportedly made Alisson Becker their top goalkeeping target, placing the Liverpool #1 firmly on their summer shortlist. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, the Italian giants are exploring a move for the Brazilian, whose current Liverpool contract runs until 2027. The report arrives at a crucial moment for Liverpool. A narrow 1-0 win over Nottingham Forest has boosted their Champions League hopes, but the broader picture remains underwhelming. Arne Slot's side sits 6th in the Premier League, just 3 points behind 4th-placed Manchester United, yet expectations were far higher at the start of the campaign. With the season nearing its conclusion, a squad refresh could be on the agenda, and that may include difficult decisions involving senior players. Alisson, now 33, remains one of the Premier League's most consistent and commanding goalkeepers. Letting him leave would represent a major gamble for a club aiming to compete for top honours again. Recent history shows how critical stability in goal can be. Manchester United endured turbulence with Andre Onana, while Manchester City only truly solidified their dominance after Pep Guardiola brought in Ederson. Liverpool have already prepared for the future by securing Georgi Mamadashvili following a pre-agreed deal with Valencia in 2024. The Georgian, now 25, is widely viewed as Alisson's long-term successor. However, questions remain over his comfort playing out from the back, an area where Alisson continues to excel. And the uncertainty doesn't stop in goal. Ibrahima Konate is approaching the end of his contract, and the arrival of Jeremy Jacquet could suggest planning is already underway for potential defensive changes. Virgil van Dijk will turn 35 ahead of the 2026-27 season and will enter the final year of his deal this summer, adding further doubt over Liverpool's defensive spine. On the right flank, performances from Connor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong have raised concerns, with speculation growing that Liverpool could pursue a new starting option in that position. All of this leaves one big question. Is this the beginning of a major rebuild under Arne Slot, and could that rebuild include the departure of one of the club's most influential players? For now, Alisson remains central to Liverpool's ambitions, but with Juventus circling, this is a story that could gather serious momentum as the summer window approaches.
Nicolo Barella blames a made-up Liverpool penalty for Inter's Champions League exit. Inter Milan's Champions League campaign is over, and captain Nicolo Barella believes a controversial moment against Liverpool earlier this season played a decisive role. Inter were eliminated in the playoff round by Norwegian side Bodo Glimt, losing both legs and crashing out 5-2 on aggregate. But Barella insists the damage was done long before that defeat. Speaking after the elimination, the 29-year-old pointed to a late penalty awarded to Liverpool at San Siro during the league phase, a decision he described as made up. That spot kick, converted confidently by Dominik Szoboszlai, proved decisive in Liverpool's win and ultimately left Inter 1 point short of the top 8 automatic qualification spots. "We tried, but they were better," Barella said. "It is infuriating that we slipped out of the league phase by 1 point because they called a made-up penalty in the 90th minute. He argued that without that decision, Inter would have avoided the extra playoff round altogether, and with it, the difficult trip to Norway. With that, we didn't end up in the top 8. Without it, we would have avoided the 2 extra matches and the trip to Norway. But that is the new Champions League." The incident itself sparked widespread debate at the time. The penalty was awarded after Florian Wirtz went down following a minor shirt pull from Alessandro Bastoni. Play initially continued, but after a VAR intervention, the referee reviewed the incident on the pitchside monitor and pointed to the spot, a call that drew immediate criticism. Former Manchester United and Arsenal midfielder Henrik Mkhitaryan questioned the logic behind the decision, saying he did not understand how a penalty was given for something that never existed. Italian manager Fabio Capello, working as a pundit, went even further, describing it as an obvious simulation and questioning why VAR had intervened at all. Despite the controversy, Inter boss Christian Chivu chose not to dwell on the incident. Instead, he admitted his side simply failed to break down a disciplined Bodo Glimt team across the two legs. "We tried every possible way against a team that was well organized in a low block with 10 players behind the ball. We couldn't break them down, and they found a mental comfort zone." In the end, while Barella believes the controversial Liverpool penalty changed the course of Inter's European journey, their exit was sealed by 2 defeats against a fearless Norwegian side. And in a competition where margins are razor-thin, one referee-in call, fair or not, can alter an entire season.
All Premier League clubs have successfully avoided breaching the division's profit and sustainability rules for the latest reporting period. Clubs were required to submit their 2024-25 financial accounts by December 31, confirming whether they remained within the permitted loss threshold of £105 million over a rolling 3-year cycle. According to The Times, the Premier League's financial team has now confirmed that every club is compliant. That marks a significant shift from the previous year when several sides were forced into late June transfers to balance their books before the deadline. In 2024, both Everton and Aston Villa sold their women's teams before the June cutoff in order to generate revenue and remain within PSR limits. This time, however, there was no frantic scramble across the league. Some clubs even found themselves operating from positions of relative financial strength. Liverpool, after a restrained recruitment period previously, entered the market with intent following their 2024-25 title-winning campaign. The arrivals of Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, Armin Pesci and Florian Wirtz saw the Reds break their transfer record, reflecting the financial flexibility they had built up during a more cautious phase. Meanwhile, Manchester United also had room to manoeuvre despite enduring a difficult league season. Their deal for Matheus Cunha was structured to fall within the 2024-25 financial year, contributing to total spending of more than £340 million, the third highest single-season outlay in Premier League history. Crucially, United's PSR calculations were based on the financial results of Red Football Limited rather than Manchester United plc, meaning certain non-football-related expenditures were excluded. Losses were therefore significantly lower than first anticipated. The Athletic reported that United could have posted losses exceeding £140 million in 2025 and still remained compliant under league regulations. While domestic compliance appears secure across the board, the picture is slightly different in Europe. Aston Villa may still face action from UEFA after breaching the governing body's squad cost rule. Under UEFA regulations, clubs can face financial penalties if spending on wages, transfers and agents exceeds 70% of total revenue. A substantial fine is now expected for Villa, highlighting the contrast between Premier League compliance and European financial controls. For now, though, the key takeaway is clear. After months of scrutiny around financial governance, every Premier League club has stayed within the permitted limits, offering rare stability in an era of increasing regulatory pressure.
All 6 Premier League sides have officially reached the Champions League last 16, underlining the strength of English football in this season's competition. The knockout picture is starting to take shape, with Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Bodo Glimt and Newcastle United among the latest teams to confirm their spots. Newcastle secured qualification in style, beating Qarabag 3-2 on the night to complete a dominant 9-3 aggregate victory after a stunning 6-1 win away in the first leg. That result ensures Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Manchester City and Newcastle will all feature in the next round, though the new competition format means the draw won't be entirely random. Under the revamped system, matchups are influenced by league phase finishing positions, raising the possibility of Premier League clubs facing each other as early as the last 16. As it stands, the confirmed teams include Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Tottenham, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting CP, Manchester City, Newcastle, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen and Bodo Glimt. 4 spots remain undecided, with ties still ongoing involving Real Madrid or Benfica, Paris Saint-Germain or Monaco, Juventus or Galatasaray, and Borussia Dortmund or Atalanta. Newcastle arguably face one of the toughest potential paths, as they are set to meet either Chelsea or Barcelona in the next round.
History does not favour the Magpies at Stamford Bridge, where they have only one win since 2012, and they have already lost to Barcelona during the league phase this season. Arsenal's route is hardly straightforward either, with Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Dortmund or Atalanta possible opponents. For Liverpool and potentially Tottenham, the challenge is equally demanding. They could be drawn against Atletico Madrid, Galatasaray or Juventus, all sides with strong European pedigree. Atletico confirmed their qualification with a win over Club Brugge, while Galatasaray hold a commanding 5-2 advantage over Juventus heading into their second leg. Liverpool have already beaten Atletico in the league phase this campaign, but memories remain of their elimination by the Spanish side at this stage in the 2019-20 season. Galatasaray have also proven difficult opponents, having defeated Liverpool earlier in this year's competition. Projected matchups suggest Arsenal or Bayern Munich could face Bayer Leverkusen or the winner of Dortmund versus Atalanta. Liverpool or Tottenham are in line to meet Atletico Madrid or the winner of Galatasaray against Juventus. Chelsea or Barcelona may take on Newcastle or the winner of Paris Saint-Germain against Monaco. Meanwhile, Manchester City or Sporting CP could draw Bodo Glimt or the winner of Real Madrid versus Benfica. All will be confirmed in Friday's last 16 draw, a moment that could set up heavyweight clashes and even all-English encounters on Europe's biggest stage.
Volker Struth admits he wanted Florian Wirtz at Real Madrid before Liverpool move. Florian Wirtz may now be a Liverpool player, but his path to Anfield could have looked very different. The 22-year-old was one of Europe's most sought-after talents in 2025 after another outstanding season at Bayer Leverkusen, attracting interest from Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Manchester City. In the end, Liverpool won the race, paying £116 million to Bayer Leverkusen, a British record at the time, to secure his signature. But German agent Volker Struth has now revealed he had hoped to take Wirtz to the Santiago Bernabeu instead. Speaking to Phrasenmeyer, Struth explained that during talks over a potential move to Liverpool or Bayern, he contacted Xabi Alonso and urged him to bring Wirtz to Real Madrid. Alonso's response was direct. If Struth wanted it to happen, he would need to convince Real president Florentino Perez himself. Struth then sent Perez a personal message recommending Wirtz, describing him as a player who makes every team in the world better. However, Real Madrid had other priorities. The Spanish giants focused on reinforcing their defence and completed deals for Dean Hewson, Alvaro Carreras and Trent Alexander-Arnold, along with forward Franco Mastantuono, spending a combined £140 million. According to Struth, the timing simply wasn't right. He admitted that even Real Madrid's resources are not unlimited and insisted that squad planning and budget constraints prevented a move. Still, he made his ambition clear, saying his wish remains for Wirtz to play for Real Madrid one day. How much influence Struth will have on that future is uncertain. Wirtz is directly represented by his father, Hans Joachim, while Struth has primarily been involved in the player's marketing affairs. For now, Wirtz's focus remains firmly on life at Anfield. After a steady start, he has begun to find rhythm, registering 6 goals and 3 assists in his last 14 appearances. He was set to start Liverpool's 1-0 win over Nottingham Forest, only to suffer a back issue during the warm-up. Head coach Arne Slot played down concerns after the match, saying the injury is not believed to be serious. Slot explained that Wirtz did not feel close to 100%, and in a league as intense as the Premier League, that simply isn't enough. The expectation is that he will return next week. So, while Real Madrid may remain a long-term dream in the background, Liverpool fans will be hoping Wirtz's immediate future continues to shine on Merseyside. Rion Gumoha may still be only 17, but his composure after Liverpool's win over Nottingham Forest suggested a player far older. Following the 1-0 victory at the City ground, the teenage forward unexpectedly stopped to speak with reporters in the mixed zone, something that rarely happens with players his age. There was even a brief delay as club staff checked whether he was permitted to speak to the written media, given he is still a minor. After around 30 seconds of uncertainty, approval was granted, and with a nod from Liverpool's media
team, Ngumoha calmly stepped forward for his first ever interview with the written press. Any concerns about nerves quickly disappeared. He spoke confidently and thoughtfully, discussing the dramatic closing stages against Forest, including the disallowed goal for Alexis McAllister, and reflecting on his own development in his debut senior campaign. "I think it has gone really well," Ngumoha said. "I am learning a lot every day, and playing with and training with some of the best players in the world. I can't ask for much more as a young kid." He also offered insight into his conversations with Arne Slot, explaining that he remains focused on earning trust and increasing his minutes. "Hopefully soon," he added when asked about more game time. "I just need to keep pushing and keep gaining the manager's trust." That debate around his minutes is growing among Liverpool supporters. Ngumoha has made 15 appearances this season, but only 2 starts, both in domestic cup competitions, and he is yet to be named in a Premier League starting 11. Liverpool are understandably cautious. Recent academy graduates such as Stefan Bajcetic, Jayden Danns, Cade Gordon and James McConnell have all seen their momentum disrupted by injury, serving as reminders of how fragile early breakthroughs can be. History offers further lessons too. The rapid rise of Michael Owen brought early brilliance but limited longevity, something the club will be keen not to repeat. Yet the calls for Ngumoha to feature more regularly are growing louder. His energetic cameo against Forest played a key role in Liverpool's late surge, while established forwards like Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo have struggled for consistency. Former defender Jamie Carragher is among those who believe the youngster deserves greater involvement. Ngumoha has also impressed off the bench against Bournemouth, Qarabag and Brighton, although it is fair to note he often faces tired defenders late in games. Still, what stood out just as much as his impact on the pitch was his decision to stop and speak. While senior figures like Salah, Ibrahima Konate and Joe Gomez declined media duties, as is often shared within the squad, Ngumoha chose to step forward. He didn't have to, but that willingness to take responsibility mirrors the fearless approach he shows when the ball is at his feet. His cameo in the mixed zone lasted barely 3.5 minutes, yet much like his 20-minute appearance on the pitch, it left a lasting impression.